you'll be surprised how much more available you are to serve other people once you take that little bit of time to serve yourself.
Like, I literally do things that I don't want to do just because I know it's going to make me mentally tough.
If nobody's going to believe in you, sometimes you got to believe in yourself.
People will see me do all these things that could be done easier. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it the easy way. Like, I'm going to do it the hard way so I get stronger. All right, so we are here. Next up, podcast, Alison Carnegie in the house. Alison, what is up? I haven't talked to you, like, face to face since the school bus in, like, ninth grade.
Long time. It's been a very, very long time. But you know what? It's kind of just like the beauty of people kind of just like going their separate ways and then meeting up later in life and seeing what everybody's doing, seeing what's going on in their life, like seeing the changes. I mean, you haven't changed,
Neither
honestly.
have you.
Well, that's good.
Well, I mean, you look more fit than you did back then, but you were fit back then too.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, still looking like your dad though, but
you think so?
Yeah, man.
I feel like I'm a split between my mom and my mom and my dad.
No, this is all Courtney.
Courtney is gonna love watching this podcast, by the way. To make sure I show it to him.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to? Because I remember, I think my last memory of you was we were riding home on the way back from school.
Yeah.
And you were sitting in the back of the bus having a conversation with my friend DeVern. Remember DeVern? Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah.
And I don't like we were never really close. Like I feel like our parents were friends.
Yeah.
But there was an age gap between us. I was this like nerdy, annoying little freshman probably. And you gave me no time of day, but here we are. Now I have you on the podcast.
Oh man, that makes me feel horrible. No time of day.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. At teenagers, you kind of just like it's crazy. It's like you go from one grade to another, and it's almost just like each grade, you're in almost like a whole different world. Yeah, I guess, and you kind of just like cut yourself off from like whatever else is going around you, and only focus on like your own little world. But yeah, if I was back there having like a pep talk with DeVern, that just sounds like me. Like I love giving people pep talks. Yeah, that's just like my life mission.
That's awesome. So you didn't go to Land O'Lakes all 4 years, right? Where'd you go?
No, so I left Land O'Lakes after my freshman year and then went to Tampa Catholic.
Oh,
and so then I did Tampa Catholic sophomore, junior year, and then came back to Land O'Lakes my senior year.
Okay.
So I did end up graduating from Land O'Lakes, but my senior year was very much like under the radar. Yeah.
You played sports, right?
Like everything.
Track and field?
Everything.
Okay, what?
Soccer, basketball, track and field. Like even on my Instagram, I had posted like not too long ago because I completely forgot about some of like the obscure sports that I did, but I even did like speed skating. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Skate Odyssey that used to be open on Nebraska?
I love Skate Odyssey.
So I remember one time we were there just for like regular skate night. If you are old enough to know about skate nights, like we see each other. But skate night. And then I remember seeing the speed team come out one time.
You're
like,
oh,
practice.
I can do that too.
Oh, I was mesmerized. I was absolutely mesmerized. But I wanted like the fancy skates. Yeah. Like I didn't want those brown skates.
Oh, yeah.
No.
So get like the inline rollerblades, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't that daring.
No?
No.
Really?
No. I liked my teeth.
Oh, God. I was all about the rollerblades.
The rollerblades?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would see somebody on them, which was weird to me because like to see somebody on the rollerblades in the skating rink, I was like, aren't those supposed to be outside? Like, shouldn't you be doing those outside? But I was mesmerized by the skate team and like begged my mom for about like a month and a half to try this out. And then, I ended up speed skating, like speed roller skating.
That's crazy. So Skate Odyssey is shut down, right?
Oh, yeah.
But there is Astro Skate that's over in Pinellas County. It's in like Tarpon or something like that.
Yeah.
And I take my kids there to go skating just so I can go skating.
No broken bones,
No
right?
broken bones. And they have old school skate too. So it's all like 90s hip hop and like the old school like techno and house and EDM. Oh, it's a great time.
Oh man. Like I think I would love to take my kids skating again. But like, I don't think I'd trust myself on roller skates again.
Well, they have those PVC like walker things, so you
yeah,
can
I've
use
seen
that and you can push yourself around.
Bro, I can't do it. That's where you just have to kind of just like draw the line sometimes and just be like, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm good.
I'm pretty sure you can still do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll see
I could
one
probably
day.
do it better. I'm just saying. So one thing you should know about me is that I'm probably as competitive as you are. So there may be some trash talk happening between the two of us.
So, funny thing, I'm not competitive.
What?
Like, really, not at all.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
No.
I'm still
Honestly,
gonna talk
no.
trash to you though.
Yeah, you can talk trash, but honestly, like that's I'm not a super competitive person.
That's so wild to me because you're like an athlete through and through, but you're not that competitive.
No, like I played soccer and I played basketball and like, I was good and I had fun playing those sports. But ultimately the thing that like I excelled in the most was track. And that is like a very individual sport. And I was like very comfortable with that, just essentially just competing with myself. Yeah. I just never kind of worried about like what other people were doing around me. I just kind of just focused on myself a lot. And so, even sometimes if people try and get like competitive with me at like work or like with other kind of things, I'm just like, do you, boo? Like
it's funny you mentioned that because I have been struggling to wake up and work out, right? Yeah. I don't know what's going on with me lately. And I was like, all right, I have her on the podcast today. I got to hit the gym because she's probably going to ask me if I worked out today, right? So I'm in the garage working out. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I am as competitive as I am horrible at competing with myself and self-motivating. Yeah. Like, I don't work out half as hard now as I did when I was doing CrossFit or even F45. And it drives me crazy because I want to do it, but that drive just isn't there anymore.
Yeah. So is it just like an individual thing? Just so when you're with other people, is it that you are wanting to compete with them, or is it the camaraderie that appeals to you when you go to work out?
That's a good question. I would probably say it's both. Yeah. But it's definitely more the competition. Yeah. And I think that's why I had an obsessive relationship with CrossFit. Yeah. And I was able to survive through F45 a bit. But the reason why I left F45 is because I didn't feel like I was getting the same workout I did as CrossFit because they don't have that same competitive aspect to it. Right. It's not a sport. Right. Like CrossFit is a sport. Correct. And although like we would compete in CrossFit, like the minute you finished your workout, you were cheering on your teammate, right? And and that's where the camaraderie piece comes in, and that I didn't get at F45, which is why I kind of got bored probably. Yeah. So I think that it's good for people to try different things. And I'm not one of those people that is like, try different things to see what you like. I'm almost the opposite. Try different things to see what it is that you don't like. And that can tell you a lot about yourself, where you get your motivation from, where your drive comes from, and things that you enjoy and why you enjoy it. And so you can almost just kind of like have a conversation with yourself. So why is it that you want to force yourself to like work out at home? Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So I force myself to work out at home because I don't have time to go to the gym anymore. I travel a lot for work these days. Correct. And and I had at one point 3 gym memberships. Okay. I remember you telling me that. Yeah, and I wasn't using any of them.
Any of them.
My wife made me cancel them all, which is probably a good idea because I wasn't using them. And I was like, all right, let me go ahead and build a home gym. But I mean, like, I just want to stay in shape. Correct. Like, I want to make those health deposits now so when I'm older. Or when I'm sick or whatever, I can handle any issues better than I can. Yeah. On top of that, like, I'm on camera all the time, so I want to make sure I look okay. Yeah. But the problem is I know how I used to look. Correct. And how I used to be able to operate. Right. And then there's where I'm at right now. And like, I think about the past. I know I'm getting older, just turned 40, right? And everything is starting to hurt. Literally. Yeah. I raced my 12-year-old son the other day. He was 12 at the time. So here's what happened, right? Yeah. me and the family going for a walk down the street,
Yeah.
right? And Kingston wants to race.
Yeah.
And it may be 800 meters, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be fast. Like I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
fast on the basketball team, soccer, all that. I was a
Yeah.
fast kid. And I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm going to smoke this kid, right?
Yeah.
So we start running, maybe like 300 meters in. I'm like, I'm going to let him run ahead of me for a bit, just keep his pace, but keep him like at least like 10, 15 steps ahead of me.
Yeah.
Then we're going to turn this corner. I'm going to smoke him and just like humiliate him,
Yeah.
right? You turn the corner, and I start running, and I'm like, where's third, fourth, and fifth gear? Like, what's going on here? And then the knee started to hurt, the hamstring started getting tight, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna bow out. I'm not even gonna attempt to beat this kid right now. Something bad's about to happen.
Yeah.
And I lost to my 12-year-old son in the race, and I'm just not happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that it will do is probably just bruise your ego a little
Bruised
bit.
it. But the worst part was he cheered me on. He was like, "Oh, good job, Dad. Nice try. You're still fast." I'm like, "Come on, man. At least like,
Well, did
like
you
talk
want
some trash to me."
Oh, okay, that's what you wanted. You
that's
wanted
what I
the trash
wanted.
talk.
Like
Man,
the,
he
the
loves
sympathy
you.
was worse. I don't want the sympathy.
But he loves you. So
Kid's too nice.
So one thing that I would probably just think about is if you don't like working out at home, just don't do it. Or don't do it as much. Like don't force yourself to do it as much. And I know like this is a talk that I have with my clients a lot. And this sentence, I don't have the time to like fill in the blank, whatever that fill in the blank is. That's where we kind of just like go back to kind of just like reassess some things. So you like CrossFit.
I love CrossFit.
You were successful.
Too successful.
At doing CrossFit. So instead of doing, because how many days a week were you doing it before?
6.
6. Oof. Yeah, you were dedicated to
I was
it.
dedicated.
Yeah.
Probably like 2-3 hours a day too. It was too much.
So instead of having like that mindset where you're just like, if I can't work out doing CrossFit, like if I can't work out with that schedule, with that intensity, then like I'm not going to do it at all. Then I would say continue to do CrossFit. Like you can definitely find a place with a schedule that'll work for you. And just 2 days. Just try like just 2 days a week. And then 2 days a week you work out from home.
Yeah.
But almost just use like that home workout to just be like, I know that I'll just, kind of just like muster through these 2 home workouts because I know that like later on this week, I'm going to have those other 2 workouts at that CrossFit gym that like I really, really love to do. And then those mornings that you do CrossFit, everything else, just take it off your schedule. And I know some people are like, I can't take that off my schedule. You can do it.
Yeah.
Like you have to just prioritize yourself and just make like a promise to yourself and just say Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., I go do CrossFit. Maybe even go have a talk with your wife and be like, babe, I love you. This is something that I need to do for myself. How can we collaborate so that I can make this happen for myself? And while we're talking about this, what is like that one thing that you need for yourself that you've been putting off and that you don't want to do, or because like you've been telling yourself you don't have the time or whatever? And like, how can we together help each other like keep that one thing in our life that we really, really, really enjoy to do?
Yeah, I think she'd be supportive. Actually, I know she would be.
Yeah.
But I think one of the challenges for me to focus on fitness is my priorities. So back in the day, it was CrossFit, God, family, work. Or maybe work was even above family and God. Like it was, I was all messed up, right? But now it's like, I have my faith, I have family, I have work, and now I have the gym.
Yeah.
So it's harder for me to dedicate time to it when I have other things that I feel like are higher priority, although I need it. And honestly, if I don't work out in the morning, I'm grumpy all day.
Yeah.
Maybe not the first day, But the second day,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Yeah.
those endorphins definitely help give me the buffer I need
Yeah.
to handle being an entrepreneur, which
Yeah.
is why I'll just go and, you know, half work out every
A
single
home
morning
worker.
at home because I know I need to do it
Yeah.
to be able to function for my team and my family and for
Yeah.
everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what I was telling you before, or things that I have mentioned to everybody else, that everybody always knows this saying that you have to put your oxygen mask on first
Mm-hmm.
before
Exactly.
you help everybody else.
Yeah.
And everybody always does like what you just did, where they're like, yep, yep. And like they'll agree with you, but will they actually do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the execution of it. That's where a lot of people end up falling short, is the actual execution of it.
It's funny because I was just talking to our mutual friend,
Yeah.
Dr. Will Serrano.
Yeah.
And so we're in the same men's group together also.
Yeah. Great guy.
And he was pretty much talking about putting yourself first. Like he lectured me about taking time for myself because like one of my top traits is woo, which is when others over. So I'm always wanting to serve and do something for somebody else. And even talking about work and like my calendar and all that, like I'm always putting meetings on my calendar for other people. He was like, well, what about you? Like, when is your time? So whether it's my fitness or work or whatever it is, I got to start getting better about putting myself forward so I could help other people more.
Yeah, you'll be surprised how much more available you are to serve other people once you take that little bit of time to serve yourself first. And you'll be able to do it with more energy. You'll be able to make a far better impact. It's like we were just talking about, where you were just like, I just can't get like my brain to click, and like I feel like some things just are kind of just like slowing down in the brain too. Yeah, it's even just like some of those things like that. But yeah, I can tell you right now that I've probably noticed the biggest shift in my life when I genuinely started putting myself first, not kind of just like, halfway, just putting myself first and then just being like, all right, let me just give like the sloppy seconds to my kids and my job and like whatever. No, like I made a dedicated effort to put myself first, almost in a way where some people might have viewed it as selfish. And like I was okay with other people viewing it as selfish, but it has really caused for me to be just a better person, more focused, a better mother, a better coworker, and I feel myself thriving a lot more since I've started prioritizing myself.
And it's funny, like I 100% agree.
Yeah.
And like I know these things because I've lived it before. Like I used to have my routine and I'd work out every day, even on like the trip or on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like work trips, and God, everybody knows if you want Marlon, he's going to be in the gym at 7 a.m. before he gets to the conference or whatever. Yeah. But now it's like, oh gosh, I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's
annoying for me.
It can
I'm annoyed
be
at myself.
Yeah, it can be annoying. Yeah, you gotta once you start having like children, and then like your career starts to take a little bit more precedence, because like it's more important as we get older. Like our careers start to carry a little bit more weight too, and we do start to shuffle priorities around until you like turn around and you're just like, who am I?
Yeah.
What's happened? What am I doing? And some things in your life may not just be clicking the way that they used to, but it's finding a way to not just have like that abstract view of putting the oxygen mask on first, but like actually doing it.
Yeah.
Actually doing it. Yeah.
I need to focus on longevity. Not thinking about that.
Of your own life?
Yeah. Well, just for everything, like life, work, like anything.
Yeah.
Because if I'm eating right and I'm hitting the gym like I should be,
right,
I'll be able to do more at a higher level and for a longer period of time than if I'm being lazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes too that maybe it's almost that we got to focus on like the quality of what we're doing as well too. because more doesn't always mean more sometimes. And yeah, like we all kind of just have that thinking. But yeah, definitely like your longevity of like your physical body
Yeah.
will definitely be able to help you in the long run.
Hmm.
So, like, are you sleeping at well at night or?
I mean, yeah, I sleep pretty good. I'm actually getting like 7 hours a night, which is
Okay.
a lot better now than I was getting
Before?
previously. Like before, it was like 4 or 5 hours.
Okay.
And that was okay for me back then,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Body's like, no.
Yeah, but it's like, no, you need to sleep.
Yeah.
And waking up is horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Now?
Now it is, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, like I would love to get up at 4:30 every morning like
Yeah.
I used to, hit the gym, spend some time in the word or whatever, and then like go on about my day.
Yeah.
But I just can't do it.
Really?
Well, I shouldn't say I can't do it. It's challenging for me to
Yeah.
do it now. But for me to wake up and catch a flight or to do it to pick up someone from the airport, no problem. I
Yeah.
got that all day. But the gym, it's not enough anymore.
So it's just like doing something for yourself is where you have the roadblock.
Yeah.
Doing something for somebody else, you're able to,
That's
no
a good way
problem.
of putting it. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you're right. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you in on I guess it's not a little secret, but for the longest time, like I was having difficulties like getting out of bed in the morning, just like physically getting out of bed.
Yeah.
I would sit there and I would lay there, and it's almost just like I would dread for like my day to start.
Yeah.
And it's just like the longer I would just like lay there, I would just like prolong it. And then like sometimes I would lay there to the point that I would just like be late and then just like upset with myself for the whole entire morning.
Yeah.
And I just was like, tomorrow morning is going to be different. Tomorrow morning is going to be different. And then it was just like the same BS
Yeah.
every single morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I've spoken to a lot of my friends, and some of them kind of like have the same issue. So I think there gets a point where you get, almost just kind of just like so stressed
Yeah.
and just have like so much on your plate that just like the thought of your day can be a little overwhelming at times,
Mm-hmm.
or you just don't have the motivation to like get
Yeah.
out of bed and to just do the things that you know that you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you're not alone. You're not alone, but
Mhm.
you got to kind of just like maybe pinpoint what it is,
Yeah.
like why you keep procrastinating either yourself or procrastinating your day or.
Yeah, it's not really procrastination. It's not exciting for me anymore. I
Mm.
like doing exciting things. And working out in my garage is not exciting anymore.
So all right, is there any way that just 2 days per week, you can go to CrossFit in the
Yeah, I
morning?
probably could. Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, start there. Just 2 days a week. So in like 3 weeks,
You gonna check in on me?
I'm gonna check in with you, and I'll be like, "You been to CrossFit yet?"
Yeah.
And the answer should
It
be
better be yes.
yes. I've gone 2 times already.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
that's
hold
the
yourself
thing.
to that.
I need someone to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody holding me accountable
Okay.
in terms of my fitness
Okay.
right now.
Well,
Yeah.
guess who's gonna be checking on you?
Good. Thank you. I need it. I need it. So, do you still follow track and field?
I do. So I still follow the track and field. I'm so excited for this summer
Mm-hmm.
for the Olympics so
Who's
that
your
I
favorite,
can watch
Your
it.
favorite runner?
I have a lot of favorite. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of favorite. I really like Sha'Carri Richardson,
Mm-hmm.
only because like a lot of people kind of just like counted her
Yeah.
down and out after, she got banned for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard work that woman has put in
Yeah.
to come back. I mean, I know a lot of people are just like, she's kind of cocky, she's kind of arrogant. If nobody's going to believe in you, sometimes you got to believe in yourself.
Exactly.
And she was at a point where like nobody believed in her.
Yeah.
And she just never gave up on herself. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, it may come across as arrogance, but sometimes you have to be that way to get the job done.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm excited to see her run. And of course, Gotta watch the Jamaicans.
I know. I was getting to that.
Yeah, they're gonna put on a show
Yeah.
like we do every 4 years. Every 4 years, yeah,
Yep.
they're gonna go for it.
So my aunt, shout out to Olive McNaughton, sports realtor. She actually does a lot with the Jamaican track and field team. So she travels with them all over the world.
Yeah,
She was with Usain Bolt whenever he was at the top of his game.
yeah,
And she actually does some of their marketing, like social media type stuff. But then she plans trips around the world to go to all the different track meets and Olympics and all that. So she spends a ton of time with them.
okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're thoroughbreds, man.
Yeah, right.
There's really no way around it.
Nope, can't get around that.
Saw them yams.
yeah, it's an Aki.
Aki and sawfish and yams. That's what the secret is.
Yep. All right. So, what happened after high school? What'd you do?
So I went to college at Bethune-Cookman for a couple of years and ran out of money, and was also there was a lot of home stuff going on too. And I remember like going to like the loan officers or financial aid, like going to them and just like looking over the paperwork of how much I would have to take out in loans to finish school. And I was like, nah.
Yep. There's a better way.
I just remember just walking out and being like, nah, there's got to be a better way. So yeah, I took some time off and was kind of just like spiraling a little bit, just trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I remember just like waking up one morning, and it was almost like the voice was almost just like as if like you were sitting like right there in that chair next to me. And it just said, you need to join the military. And I feel like it wasn't even like a thought on my own. Some people would be like, it was God speaking to you. Some people would be like, it was the universe just guiding you in whatever direction you needed to go in. So yeah, I went down to the recruiter's office later on that week, like did my paperwork, took my tests, and I joined the Army for 5 years. And I went into lab sciences in the Army, which is still my current career. And did 5 years of service.
So what is lab sciences and where were you stationed?
So there's a lot of different laboratory sciences. Some lean more towards like research, clinical lab. So basically any sort of function that goes on with your body, you go to the doctor's office, they run a bunch of, like, they'll just say, we're going to run a bunch of lab tests on you. And so we're the people, like, basically behind the instrumentation, behind the microscopes, running all the tests, reporting back to the physician so that they can use that information to diagnose you.
Gotcha.
But I was stationed Fort Gordon, Georgia. I was in San Antonio.
That's in like Augusta area, right? I used to live up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of slow.
Yeah.
Not much to do.
That's why I'm back here.
Yeah. Get in trouble.
One of the reasons.
I was in San Antonio, and then I spent a couple of years up at Aberdeen Proving Grounds up in Maryland.
Okay.
Outside of Baltimore.
How'd you like that?
Yeah, there was some weird stuff going on on Aberdeen. I'm convinced there's stuff up there in the water. And I think like one of those areas, it has like a very high cancer rate.
Really?
Of just like the citizens living in that area.
Oh, wow.
So like I'm not joking when I say there's something in the water.
I think it has to do with the amount of seafood they're consuming up that way?
No. So Aberdeen Proving Ground is where they used to test a lot of weapons. And some of the weapons that they used to test, they were used back in the day with chemical warfare. And of course, we're not allowed to do that anymore. But I think a lot of those chemicals might have seeped into the ground and into the groundwater.
Well, that's no bueno. You should have tested someplace else. Maybe that was deserted.
Yeah, I mean, problems with water happens all over the place. What is it? Like, I think they're still having issues in Flint with the drinking water.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure they are, yeah. Up in Michigan.
That sucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I was stationed up there, and then lived in like the Baltimore, D.C. area, and that was definitely different than
How'd you
being
like living
Rose.
there? Like in DC? Like
I
DC
did
at all?
not like
No?
it.
Why?
Man, the crime was so bad up there.
Mm.
The crime was so bad. Do you remember the show The Wire on
Yeah.
HBO?
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's not made up.
Oh, that's a
It's
real
not
deal?
made. Yeah. So
Oh,
when I
man.
got out of the Army, I did my 5 years and I applied at Johns Hopkins and was like, if I can get a job at Hopkins, I'm going to stay up here for a while. I want this on my resume,
Mhm. Yeah.
best hospital in the world, blah, 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 all that other kind of stuff. So after being up there for a while, I was like, dang, I just want to go back home.
Yeah.
So I was working in the lab, and then weekends I was bartending.
Mm.
Got a bartender's license. I don't know if they even have that nowadays. And I started bartending. And I was bartending at this club in downtown Baltimore area. And some of the cast from The Wire used to come into the club. And we would hang out with them sometimes, but that's when I realized like these are not actors. Like they
They're
were
living
getting real people off the street and basically like giving them scripts and was like, "Do you want to be in this show?" Like they were trying to make that show as authentic as possible. Like those
Wow.
were real people from the neighborhood. What they portrayed as going on in the neighborhoods,
Yeah.
it's like
That's
real.
crazy. I
Yeah,
didn't
the
know
crime
that.
was bad. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, bad.
Okay. I got to go back and watch some episodes.
Oh yeah, like it's a great show, but they did have like a lot of just real people
Yeah.
on the show just to try and make the show authentic, and
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
When did you get back to Florida?
So I moved back to Florida in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that I had wanted to come back home. Like I was tired of like the snow,
Yeah.
the cold,
Mm-hmm.
the city. It's just I wanted to get back to like the beach and
Yeah.
Tampa when it was slower, much slower than
It's
it
not
is
slower now.
Not at all. And before I moved down, I saw this posting because I was looking for jobs for clinical labs specialists, but in working in a solid organ transplant lab.
Oh wow.
And it looked really, really interesting to me.
Sounds
so
interesting.
I applied for the job and I got it. And I was working in a solid organ transplantation field for about 12 years
Wow.
before I transitioned to a different career. But
So
yeah.
what's the new career?
So now I'm doing clinical lab advising and consulting for a big oncology practice.
Okay.
And so it's interesting. It is a very rapidly changing field.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the innovations that they come up with for cancer treatments is extremely, extremely interesting. But I think that this is where my path had like almost started to take a change
Yeah.
of direction. I started having, I guess you can call it like a moral crisis from working at both of these institutions. And I realized that I don't work in healthcare at all. I work in sick care. And working in organ transplantation was extremely eye-opening for me because a lot of people think that, organ transplantation is life-saving and so on and so forth. Yeah, it is. But the amount of people that I noticed were on the waiting list for organs, all kinds, all various organs, they were all dying from preventable diseases. I won't say all. There are some people that have congenital defects and, cancers and other things that happen to them, but vast majority of people waiting for an organ are on that list due to a preventable disease.
That's wild.
So
Is that something that we see more in America as opposed to other countries, do you think?
that I don't know. That I really can't speak on. But I would probably bet so, just because of our diet and our lifestyle. I'm pretty sure that it correlates with us being more obese
Hmm.
than any other country in the world, having a shorter lifespan than majority of countries in the world,
Yeah.
first world countries in the world. Um, and just the plethora of obstacles that we have put in our own way on our journey, just for better health
Yeah.
and a healthcare system that just isn't working.
So what are you doing now to focus more on healthcare?
So that's why I really just wanted to get my personal training certification and to try and to teach people that they don't have to subscribe to this notion that um, they can basically just treat their body any kind of way and then turn to their healthcare provider and be like, I've put myself down this road. Now you fix it. Now you do something
Yeah.
about it. I just want people to take responsibility for their own health. And more importantly, the mental aspect of getting yourself on the road to just being healthier. Like, you don't have to go to the gym and you don't have to put on a ton of muscle. I understand that the way that I look may not be the way that some women want to look, and
Hmm.
that's fine. My hobby is going to the gym and lifting weights. The way that I look is just a byproduct of my hobby. I don't go there to look a specific
Yeah.
way. But just to be able to lift enough weights, I heard something, actually, it was my chiropractor that had like posted something like this that basically said that you don't have to go to the gym and lift weights to put a ton of muscle on your frame if that's not the aesthetic that you want, but to at least go to the gym with the mindset and with the goal to build muscle. It doesn't have to be visible muscle, like you don't have to be ripped,
Hmm.
but just the idea to build enough muscle to prolong your health and to prolong your longevity.
Yeah.
So shout out to Dr. E.
So in terms of like building muscle, what are what are some tips to actually like what's your gym regimen like? Are you doing
Yeah.
cardio and strength on the same day? Do you split them up? Like how does
Yeah.
that look for you and for your clients?
So it depends on, for my clients, it depends on what their goal is. So I work predominantly with women, and I choose that route because a lot of the times women are the most confused and I guess
Mm.
maybe often the most afraid a lot of the times when they go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to give them the tools to be able to essentially build their own workout routine so that in 6 months, 9 months, a year, they don't need me anymore.
Gotcha.
That's my goal, is
Yeah.
for my clients to not need me anymore. But some of them do want to lose weight. We will always keep that base of lifting weights. And some of them, I program a little bit more cardio than others, but I always try to program cardio, not necessarily just for weight loss, but for cardiovascular health. Like, it is still
Yeah.
good to get your heart rate over a certain amount, and to get your body moving, to get your joints moving in a consistent manner. And then, yeah, lifting heavy as shit. And I
Love
think
it.
that's where a lot of women, they kind of just stop. Matter of fact, so Memorial Day yesterday,
Yeah.
I was in the gym and there was this woman that was working out next to me and she was like, "Excuse me." And I was like, "Yes." She's like, "I don't want to sound like a creep." And I'm like, "You're not." And she was like, do you think that I'd be able to get like stronger arms in like, you think like 2 weeks? And I was like, no.
No, it's not gonna happen.
No, that's not going to happen. But I didn't want to make her feel stupid,
Yeah.
for asking that question, because honestly, a lot of people don't know. The best thing is that they're at least in the gym. Like, they're at least there and they're trying to work
Mhm.
out, but there's still a lot of misinformation out there. And some people, they just kind of don't know how the human body works and how it adapts and how you build muscle. So I told her right then and there, because I saw her, like, she was lifting weights and she was doing biceps, and I saw she had like 2 5-pound weights and 2 10-pound weights.
Yeah, I gotta step it up.
And I asked her, I said, how many reps did you do? And she was like, well, I did 15, 15, and like 15. And I said, I want you to go put those weights back, and I want you to go grab some dumbbells that the minute that you pick them up, like, your first thought is, this is not child's play.
Yeah.
And I want you to go pick up some weights that are going to scare you a little bit. I'm right here, and like, I'll help you. And so she went and she got much heavier weights. And then I told her, what I want you to do is pick up some weights where you'll only be able to get 5 reps maybe. And that 5th rep, you're going to be struggling a little bit. Do the 5 reps, put them down, rest for about a minute or 2, and then do 5 more reps. And I said, I want you to do 5 sets like that, 5 by 5, 5 reps, 5 sets, and stop messing around with those weights for right now. There's a time and there's a place for higher reps and lighter weight.
Yeah.
I was like, but for 8 weeks, just 8 weeks, girl, commit to every single upper body workout that you're doing. Grab the weights that scare you. And I know that sometimes you're in here by yourself and you look around and you're like, dang, is anybody going to be able to spot me? Just ask somebody.
Yeah.
Just ask somebody to spot you and to go for it. And that is how you'll be able to take yourself from like A to F, or like A to H, instead of just kind of just like slowly inching along and just not making any progress.
So you're telling me I need to move away from like the 3x7 to the 5x5s?
For a time being, like, if you want to see some change, I really like for myself that there are periods of times, like a block from like 8 to maybe like 10 weeks, that I will only work in like a 5x5 rep range. Or if I'm deadlifting heavy weights, maybe just be able to get 3, maybe 4 reps.
Yeah.
And then your body can't sustain that for like long periods of time. And so then after like that 8 or 10 week block, then you ramp it back for a couple of weeks where you start to work in maybe like the 8 to 12 rep range. So you scale back the amount of weight that you're lifting. And then for maybe like a week, for like your deload week or something like that, after that, then maybe do like 15 to 20 rep range.
I feel like I've been in a deload week for like the past 2 years.
No, sometimes you got to get under some weight that is gonna, like, it's gonna scare you to the point. Like, if you're this is the way that I'm able to tell you, if this is the way you'll be able to judge if you're lifting heavy or not. I know some people are like, it's by the face that you make, like the last couple. No. If you're lifting and you're doing your reps in the gym or wherever you are, if your mind can like look at somebody else and be like, oh, like, look what they're wearing. If you're able to think of anything else while you're lifting and you're able to like daydream off for a second, you're not lifting heavy enough. No, you need to be able to lift so that like the minute that you pick up that weight, you like your mind snaps and you concentrate and you're like, there is nothing else I can think of right now, because if this falls on my face, I'm losing all my teeth.
So funny, and I totally get that. And that's what I loved about the way I used to train back in the day.
In CrossFit, yeah.
Yeah, and just the intensity, like the raw intensity, whether it was how heavy the weight was, the amount of reps, or how technically you had to be to snatch, to squat snatch this weight. But like I'm legit afraid of the weight, and I hate saying it, but I'm afraid of getting hurt because I didn't take great care of myself when I was younger. And now I have shoulder pain, I have knee pain, like my hips hurt. Like for some reason, my bicep hurts. I don't know when that happened. So it's like I'm always working out with light weight to try and prevent myself from injuring myself again, which is kind of silly.
No, it's not silly. I've had 3 knee surgeries on this left knee here. And so when you have like a major injury, and I actually, the first time I hurt my knee, I was only 14, and I tore my ACL and my MCL and had to have surgery at like 14 years old.
Oh
And I
gosh.
clipped a hurdle and fell on the hurdle. And ever since that day, when I got back on the track to run, whenever there was a hurdle in front of me, it's almost just kind of like a horse that like runs up to like the edge of something and then
Yeah.
just like stops. So you have that fear, and sometimes you can work around it, and sometimes you really can't. I think the worst thing that we can do sometimes is to baby an injury too much. Sometimes it needs the time, the love, and the TLC to like really heal properly.
Yeah.
But other times we're in our own minds and telling ourselves that, like we don't want to hurt ourselves. So I think the best way to probably go into a situation like that is to do a lot of mobility training.
I was gonna ask you about that.
And I know some people are like, I haven't trained in mobility training. And it's just like, actually, like you can probably do it as your warm up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be anything separate. You can probably just change some of the things that you're doing for your warm up. And just so if people don't know the difference between flexibility training, which is primarily stretching and having your muscles become more fluid and be able to stretch them out longer and maybe have like longer end range motion. And the difference between that and mobility training is that you're actually doing flexibility training, but with load. So you are doing like flexibility training, but you are trying to do it with a little bit of weight so that you are putting your joints in kind of like their end range capacity, but with load. So that way, when you're doing like quick movements like snatches or jerks or anything like that, you're literally building up strength, like in your joints, in your tendons, and you're making yourself more resilient. So that, at the age of like what am I, 42? You're not going to do.
I thought you were like 27.
You don't see these gray hairs? I wear them proudly though, so it's fine.
Me too.
But yeah, like majority of people, they're just like, how did you dislocate your elbow? And they'll be like, well, I was getting out my car and I just like fell on I fell on a curb and like I just like totally just like tore my rotator cuff. But it's being able to make your joints more resilient, because that at older age, that's what becomes the problem.
That's absolutely what I need, and I know I need. Like it was funny. It was like yesterday, the day before, I was thinking about it. I was like, I'm definitely like, I was never super flexible.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot less flexible now, and I feel like my joints ache because everything is tight. Like my muscles almost just feel like dried out, like they can't stretch. It's horrible. My posture is bad. I can't touch my toes anymore. It's so bad. And I'm like, I've got to get this fixed before I hurt myself sometime down the road.
Yeah.
And I was trying to play catch the other day. I can't even throw a ball anymore because of my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I never got it fixed back in the day. I tell you how that happened. So I was big into obstacle course racing.
Okay.
Right? I actually qualified for the world championship.
My man.
And I was doing a race with my wife, just like a fun run, but it's never really fun for me, right? So it's always competition.
Yeah.
And we actually volunteered the day before the race because if you volunteer, you get to run for free. Back then, we didn't have any money, so we wanted to volunteer, save some money, then run the race.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there at registration, and we kept hearing about these people that were dislocating their arms and tearing their rotator cuffs and all that on one particular obstacle. And it was, you know what an inverted wall is?
Yeah, I
so
probably
like
can
almost
picture
like
it.
a half pipe, right?
Okay.
So it was like a triple inverted wall. So you run up one end, you come down, and you run up another end, right? So 3 walls.
Sounds so much fun.
Oh, it was so much fun. I miss it. But me, because I'm competitive, I want to be able to not hang down from the wall and then fall backwards and have to turn around and then sprint and go up the other wall, right? So what I did, which is what a lot of other people did apparently, like I hung on the wall, I'm hanging out with my right arm alone, right? And I'm turning, and then pop, dislocates. I run down the wall, but meanwhile, like only 5% of the people were able to make it up this other wall, right? I have to be part of the 5%. So I run down, I go up.
Was your arm dragging?
Arm dragging. I pulled myself up, one-armed.
Yeah.
And I get to the other end, and I'm like kind of keeled over. And Ash is like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Just pull my arm." And she's like, "What? Why?" And I'm like, "Pull my freaking arm." So she sets my arm, and I finish the race, right? The next 2 days were the most painful days of my entire life until I hurt my knee, but I never got my shoulder fixed.
Yeah.
And the pain eventually went away. But then all of a sudden, like a few months ago, I'm bench pressing and I feel like a little like boop in my shoulder. And I don't feel like I tore anything, but it almost feels like it's like scar tissue or something in the way, and it's slightly painful when I extend too far back. So I've been benching a lot less now, and it's really annoying because I don't feel like I'm making progress anymore.
It's like this domino effect.
Yeah. So working with dumbbells is helping. I kind of like turn my wrist a little bit, and that puts less stress on my shoulders. But I hate having to, compensate for things.
So they have a lot of like really great pages on Instagram. There are a lot of really great physical therapists and stuff like that have really kind of just like turned their platforms into like service for the public. I would honestly suggest going like on one of those pages and kind of just like zeroing in on maybe any of those posts that are talking about like your specific problem.
Like knee over toes guy?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like his page is honestly great. And I do a lot of his exercises, like the backwards walk on the treadmill and doing a lot of sled pulls and pushes. And I have honestly seen a great shift.
Really?
Yeah, in my abilities. But I know this just from training clients myself too, that where you are having the issue is very rarely like the cause. It's always something else. And not to say that you didn't actually, tear or disrupt something in your shoulder. Yeah, you probably did.
But like back pain can be caused from your ankle, like crazy stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Or like, most of the time, like your back pain is usually caused by like weak glutes or weak hips, where one side is weaker than the other, and then like it causes just like like pulling over on one side, and now it's like shifting your spine just in the slightest way. But these things happen over time. Like we don't notice them in our 20s, and it's not till we get into like our 30s and 40s where the imbalance has like really thrown us over the edge, and now we're having like all of these pains. But it's the boring things. It's the
maintenance, the boring stuff.
Yeah, the repetitive strengthening and boring things. Like even if you were to go on like my Instagram page, like I don't do any of like that wild stuff. Like you see people doing just like some sprawling like handstand while they're doing push-ups and with a barbell with the kettlebell on their head and then like holding a 5-pound plate in their teeth. Like at the same, like I don't do stuff like that. It's just the plain, simple, boring things that honestly get you the best results, especially if you repeat them like over and over and over and get good at them.
It's funny how not taking care of yourself, well, it's not really funny, but it's like I'm living proof about how bad it can be. So 2 years ago, I was at the gym at F45 working out with my friend Samantha, right? And she's a trainer also, and her and I, we're very much like on the same playing field as far as athleticism. This is back when I was in better shape. Right now she smokes me. I'd never tell her that, but she would smoke me right now. And we were just screwing around.
Let it go.
Yeah, right. And she was like, "Hey, well, let's up this particular movement and let's do tuck jumps or something like that." Or it was like a snatch. I forgot what we were doing. And I did it, and I felt like that knot pop up in my like behind my shoulder blade. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. Like I'll work through it. It's happened before in the past, right? And it normally goes away after like 2 days with some Tiger Balm or whatever. You know about Tiger Balm. Stuff works wonders.
Yeah.
But this did not go away.
Yeah.
So like it was like on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of pain, I was probably sitting at like a 6.5.
Yeah.
But it was like it's annoying. Like you can deal with it, but it's annoying. And I finally take my friend Josh Austin's advice. Do you know Josh? Remember him from high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was like, go see a chiropractor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, I just met Raul. I just ran into Raul, got reconnected with him.
Yeah.
After all these years. I'm going to
Yeah.
go check him out. So I go and get my x-rays done, and one of the doctors there, she was like, were you in a car accident? And I'm like, no, that's just a lot of years not taking care of myself.
Yeah.
Well, my spine was like misaligned. It was like going to the left on one side, and then I had 2 vertebrae that were almost like fused together.
Touching, yeah.
From Raul calls it text neck from I was being on my phone or a computer or whatever. And like I have to go through like physical therapy and do all these things now to make up for what I didn't do when I was younger.
Yeah.
So it's like now I need to focus on things like mobility and stretching and taking care of myself, because that was not fun. That put me out for months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. But you know what, though? The best part about it is that our human bodies are just like so resilient that I know sometimes like we get news like that and they're just like, this is wrong with you. This is wrong with you. This is wrong with you. But I think the best part to that is this is what you can do to fix it. This is what you can do to fix it. And this is what you can do to fix it.
Or like you said, to prevent it.
Yeah, to prevent it. Prevention is great, but like, let's just be for real. A lot of us are not going to do everything that it takes to prevent injuries or, you know, just maladaptions to our body. But like we can fix it.
Yeah.
Like it's all of these things are just, they're fixable. And it's not just, you know, like what's going on with like our skeletal system or like our muscular system, but even internally, just like with our organ health and like losing, like we can lose weight.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. We don't take care of our bodies. We put on a little bit too much weight, but guess what? The weight can come off. You can lose it. You can get stronger if your muscles are weak. I mean, you can even reverse diabetes. Like that is not, you help like any kind of heart issues or anything like that. You can reverse them. Like our bodies can do remarkable and wonderful things. Like to all my women out there, like we have babies. We have whole human beings and our bodies change and morph in such like a dramatic way and they can go back.
Yeah. It's wild.
Yeah. I mean, some small differences will never be the same again, which is good. Yeah. You know, motherhood is awesome, but yeah, we can definitely change.
So talk to me about women and lifting. So that's kind of a passion of yours.
Yeah.
Why should women lift more weights?
So there's a litany, like there's so much research out there nowadays. There are so many positive benefits, but the benefits that I try to preach to my clients the most about why they should lift weights is confidence and being able to do hard things, difficult things over and over and over, and pushing yourself mentally to be able to do these hard things and getting the reward of, you know, seeing yourself change. But just doing things like that translates into like real life things. So like in my house, it's just me and my kids. And I live in a 2-story house. Like I got to be able to drag shit up and down the stairs by myself. Like I'll ask my kids and they'll be like, and I'm just like, you know what, just move. Yeah. Just like, leave me alone. I'll do it myself. And just being able to have like the confidence to be able to know that you have something that you need to do and like you're physically able to do it. Bone strength is huge. women suffer from osteoporosis like in larger numbers than men. And so lifting weights puts stress on your bones. And if you kind of want to think about it, and I know some people might get scared by this verbiage, but this is just like a natural process that your body and your bones go through, is so you lift weights, it's heavy, you actually put stress on the bones. And I wouldn't call them like little fractures, but you basically kind of rustle up your bones. And so then what happens is that you have a set of cells in your body that their main goal and that their only job in your body is to kind of just like rebuild those bones that you've stressed. So do you remember like paper mache?
Yeah.
Like when we were kids?
Yeah.
And so how you would continue to keep adding like you would dip the paper in like the pasty water, and then you would continue to just like keep adding.
Yeah.
So that's basically what and how bone strength happens. And so you go into the gym, you stress your bones, and then cells in your body come and kind of just like layer your bones and make them strong again. And then like after you've added like all those layers of paper mache, whatever it is that you've made is now like thicker, stronger.
That's a good way of describing that.
Yeah. And so the most important reason why you need strong bones is to prevent yourself from dying from a fall. A lot of old people fall, they break their hips or break some major bone in their leg. It doesn't heal properly. They don't move as much. They're now bedridden or in a chair, in a wheelchair. Not only does their quality of life go down after that, but their mortality rate increases tremendously because of the lack of movement, because of broken bones.
It's wild.
It allows you to be more independent as you age and be able to live on your own, but like don't burden your damn kids.
Yeah.
As an older person, like having kids that's not what they signed up for. To be your child is to like just to take care of you when you're older. No, have some responsibility and take care of yourself. But a lot of women don't realize that building muscle and getting proper sleep increases their testosterone. And I know that testosterone is strictly associated with men and like that's their hormone.
Yeah,
and
women have it too.
Nope, we have it too. And we have sometimes just as much testosterone as estrogen in our body. And it's very, very important. But the more muscle that you build it betters your ability to naturally produce testosterone. And it helps you in like so many aspects of life with just like your vitality, feeling energized, like a very increased sex drive. And like if you're in a committed relationship, or even if you're not, like that's still a very important part of your life. And so a lot of people don't speak onto like the benefits of women building muscle for that aspect. Like there's a reason why you come home from the gym and you just like, I'm feeling frisky.
Yep. Where's my wife at?
Yeah, exactly. Because like you've gone into the gym, you've worked out, and you have like a temporary boost in your testosterone from lifting weights. Yeah. It's the same thing for women too.
That would be an awesome podcast topic for you to talk on with some other ladies one day. I think you should do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Have you ever read You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins?
No.
Oh man,
you know what?
All right, so don't read it.
Okay.
Listen to the audiobook.
All right. I have very mixed feelings about him.
All right. So what I will say about Goggins is his whole thing about mental toughness.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah.
Like I literally do things that I don't want to do just because I know it's going to make me mentally tougher.
Yes.
Right? And he was talking to some other like big time podcaster the other day.
Yeah.
And the guy was breaking down the science. He was like, David, everything you've been talking about is real. Like here
proven.
is the proof. But it's funny because people will see me do all these things that could be done easier. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it the easy way. Like I'm gonna do
No.
it the hard way so I get stronger, right?
Yeah.
Like even like with my podcast,
Yeah.
right? Like I take a lot of gear with me and I take it by myself. Like
Yeah.
I'm not getting a cart to push things around. Like
Yeah.
I'm dragging it, I'm carrying it.
Yeah.
I don't take escalators or elevators. I walk up the
The
stairs.
stairs,
I
yeah.
walk down the stairs with all my gear when I
Yeah.
can. So I like doing those things just because it makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, I think you mentioned earlier about, well, doing hard things, right?
Yeah.
So one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned in life, I
Mhm.
learned at the gym.
Mhm.
So this is when I first got into CrossFit, right?
Mhm.
And confidence level definitely wasn't there,
Mhm.
but it was still fun to me, right? And the
Mhm.
CrossFit Open was out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try this. Looks like fun, right? I'm new to this, but let me give it a shot. So it was a final workout, like 14.5, and it was, I think it was thrusters and bar over burpees, right?
Mhm.
Brutal, and it was a ladder. So you did
Oh
like
God.
like 1 and 1, and then 3 and
And
3,
three.
and a 5 and 5, like all the way up to like
Ugh.
20 something, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I had never wanted to quit anything in my
So much.
entire life. Like I was literally thinking of ways to fake an injury
Maybe
to
if I
get
just
out of this.
pass out.
It was horrible,
Yeah.
right? But I finished the workout, and
Yeah.
like as I'm lying there on the ground, half dead,
Yeah.
after 30 minutes of trying to get through this thing, I was like, man, that's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And if I can do that, I can do anything.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always taken with me, whether
Yeah.
it was to work, school, family, like NxtGen Network,
Yeah.
like all these things. I'm like, all right, so it's difficult now, but I know I have it in me. I'm going to conquer this thing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to own it.
Correct.
Right? And that's what fitness taught me. Like I
Yeah.
can do those things just because
Self
got my butt kicked.
confidence.
Yep, self-confidence, mental strength, and all
Yeah.
that.
Confidence of self. And see, like, that is the perfect example, because I don't think that people understand the real definition of like self confidence.
hmm
We're not born with it.
Yeah.
And I find that people that lack the most self-confidence, people that lack self-confidence the most, should I say, I find always shy away from hard things. And people with the most amount of self-confidence, and I'm not talking about arrogance,
hmm
I'm just talking about self-confidence. If you watch them, like just in day-to-day life, they do hard things.
Yeah.
And it allows it to build confidence in themselves. And that's like that's the way, it's almost like Legos,
Yeah.
just like
Oh yeah.
a pack of Legos. And you
Mhm.
just continue to just keep building and building and building.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That is for sure. That's how you do it.
Yep. It's like Dion says too. Don't forget, or don't take my confidence for arrogance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, because you know what you've done
Mhm.
to develop it. Only you know the hard things that you've
Yeah.
done.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that T-shirt that's like, but did you die?
Exactly.
And I know people take it as like a joke sometimes,
Yeah.
but then you have to look back at it and you're just like, no, I felt like I was gonna die, but did I die? No.
No. you
No.
didn't.
And you're just like, oh my God, I don't know how I lived through that, but yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally lived through that. But I'll definitely take a listen, because I do like to also do things that challenge
hmm
my perception of people.
Yeah.
So I'll take a listen to his book.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
He has a cool story,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's some truth to what he says about like mental health and fitness and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
He's like next level, just like a crazy person. But
Yeah.
it's entertaining to listen to,
Yeah.
right? Like that was one of the few books that I could actually listen to, and I was like, I don't want to turn this thing off. Like, just give me some
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't he do like some ridiculous ultra marathon with like all his feet broken and stuff, like just kept going?
Yeah, it keeps going.
Yeah.
The guy's like the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps going. There is no quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we need people like that
But that's
in
not
this world.
everybody.
No.
Yeah.
But we do need people like
'Cause
that.
they motivate people like me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they motivate people like us. They will do the things and think the things that, most of us are too scared to do. Like
Yeah.
we need David Goggins. We need Elon Musks in the world. Like we need people like that.
Yeah, different people are just built differently to do
Oh,
different
yeah.
things that not everybody can do.
Oh, no.
So,
Or want to do.
or want to do. Yeah, for real. I'm not running no race with 2 broken feet.
Ain't doing nothing.
So how can people get a hold of you?
So the best way for them to get a hold on me, I'm most active on Instagram, and it is Carnegie_coaching on Instagram. I am on Facebook. You can find me Carnegie Coaching on Facebook as well too, but I'm most active on Instagram. That's the best way.
All right, and real quick, what kind of coaching do you offer?
So I offer online coaching. I'll go ahead and I'll get you set up through the app. And so it's very easy to navigate through. Your workouts are loaded onto an app. You just go ahead and you follow them. I'm available for you to chat with me, ask questions. We do weekly check-ins. We can do it over the phone. We could do it via Zoom. There's all different kinds of ways. But just because somebody isn't right there, local, available all the time to help you, that doesn't mean that you can't still, find ways to get this done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, it's been great catching up with you.
You too.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for
I feel like it's a
having
long
me.
time coming. So actually,
Yeah.
I found you on IG, I don't
Yeah.
know, a few months ago, and I was like, I'm going to slide in here and catch up with her real quick. And now here we are in the podcast.
I'm so glad that
So I
you
appreciate
did.
it.
Yeah, thank
I will
you.
let Courtney know that we were hanging out together.
Please do.
He'll be jealous.
That's my man.
All right, I'll catch you later.
Thank you.